Hi, welcome along to Barbecue Life UK, where great barbecue doesn't cost a fortune. Today we're doing a burgers around the world cook. I went off to New Zealand to cook the Kiwi burger. So that's right, we're off to New Zealand. We're going to be cooking the Kiwi burger. And this has got nothing to do with kiwis, the fruit. It's just a slang word for New Zealanders. So it's quite a simple cook, this one. A few different ingredients, but nothing too taxing. So we're going to start off with some fresh herbs for our patties. So I've got a handful of mint leaves and a handful of parsley leaves. These are both fresh, and I just want to dice them down until they're really small so we get a nice even flavouring throughout the patties. So just run my knife through them, chop them up really small. Once that's done, I want to do the same with a small clove of garlic. I don't want it to be too garlicky, so I'm making 2 patties today. So I've used quite a small clove of garlic. If you was making more, then obviously you're going to want a bigger clove of garlic. But again, I run that through, mince it up nice and small because we want a nice even spread throughout the burger patties. So the meat we're using today is lamb, and I've got 250 grams of lamb mince, so I can make 2 120 gram burger patties out of these. So I've broken it up a bit, I've got it onto a chopping board, and we're just going to take them herbs and the garlic and mix them through the meat. Now we don't want to work the meat too hard, we don't want to compress the meat too much, because then you've got nowhere for your fat and your juices to be able to run, and they will just pour out of the burger. You'll end up with a dry burger. So you want to be as careful as you can, just working it around gently but not compressing it too much. Once we've got all them herbs and the garlic mingled through the meat, I'll break it into 2 balls, get them into a meat ball so you can see roughly that they are the same size, and then we transfer them to some greaseproof paper. The reason I make the patties on greaseproof paper is because if we just make them on the chopping board, they are quite sticky. There's quite a high fat content in lamb mince, so we make it onto some greaseproof paper so it makes it easier for transfer into the grill later on. So we just take these meatballs and we're just going to push them down so we get a rough round shape, mould the sides in a little bit, work it round, pushing it down as we go, keeping it all intact. You don't want any big cracks towards the edges, because what will happen is that bit of meat will fall off when it's cooking, so you want to try and keep the sides as formed as possible. So we've got these both formed. I'm going to get them in the fridge for at least an hour just to chill down, and this really helps them stick together and will help it stay together once it's on the grill. So now that they're in the fridge and they're chilling out, we need to make our sauce. So this is what makes a Kiwi burger or a New Zealand burger so special. So we start off with a clove of garlic. So again, we're just going to mince that down. Once we've got it quite small, I want to try and turn it into a puree. Now if you've got a garlic press, you can just run it through a garlic press. But I don't have a garlic press, and this is what I do when I want to make my garlic into a puree. So just add a small amount of salt to that minced garlic, and then we take the side of the knife and we push the salt in and we slide the knife over the top. So you just want to repeat this process about 6 to 8 times, and it turns it from pieces of minced garlic into a garlicky puree. Don't put too much salt in there because the salt will overpower everything. The coarseness of the salt is what helps break it down. And then remember that you've got salt in the garlic, so when it comes to seasoning later on, you want to add less salt when you're seasoning. So we've got our garlic puree. Move it off to one side. A key ingredient in this sauce is beetroot. I've got a few slices of jarred beetroot, and again I want to mince these up really small. Just run the knife through it one way, spin it round, run the knife through it the other way until we've got really small pieces. You can run the knife through a few more times if you want to, if you missed a few pieces on the way. So I'm going to get a small dish. Into this small dish I'm going half a tablespoon of mayonnaise, and then we add our garlic and we add our beetroot, and about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of lemon. So I've just given it a good little squeeze. Give that a mix round. Get that in the fridge with them patties again for 45 minutes to an hour while them patties are chilling out. Get it in there, and that's just going to help all them flavours mingle through that mayonnaise, so you get a nice even flavour throughout the lot. So everything's been chilling out in the fridge for about an hour. It's time to get our kettle up to temperature. So I've got 3/4 of a chimney starter of lit lump of charcoal. I'm going into a charcoal basket in the middle. If you don't have charcoal baskets, then just pour it into a mound in the middle of the barbecue, so that you've got a nice area for direct cooking. We get our grill grate in, get the lid shut, vents fully open. We want a nice high heat for this, and let the kettle sit there for about 10 minutes. Let the charcoal stabilise and the metals of the kettle come up to temperature. So after that, it's sitting about 200 degrees C, which is ideal for this cook. So I'm using brioche buns today, and I just want to get a little toast on these. So I'm not putting any more fats on these buns. There's already quite a bit of butter in a brioche bun anyway, so I don't need to be adding any more. And just get these directly over the charcoal to get a nice toast. Now with this sort of heat, it doesn't take very long, 10 to 15 seconds. Give them a check, move them, twist them if you need to. So once we've got our buns toasted, we put them off to one side, and we're going on with our lamb patties. Direct cooking, straight over the top of the charcoal. Get that lid shut, about 2.5 to 3 minutes, not very long at all, and just let them cook in there. So after a few minutes, we want to flip them. So we flip them over. At the point we flip them, we're going to go on with some salt and pepper. And the reason I don't add my pepper beforehand is because on a direct cook like this with a high heat, pepper will burn. So we don't want the pepper to be touching the bottom side of any meat that's got a direct heat, which is why I only season the one side. So I've just gone on with a few twists of salt and pepper across the top of them, and then we're going on with cheese. So my cheese of choice today is a Monterey Jack. Now these have been in the freezer for a little while, that's why they've broken in half. That tends to be what I do with my big square slices of cheese that I buy for particular cooks. When I'm not using them anymore, I bag them up, vac seal them, and put them in the freezer, and then just get them out, defrost them for 20 minutes to half an hour before I want to use them next time. So we've got that cheese on, we get the lid shut again, and we're just going to leave it for another 2.5 to 3 minutes just to melt that cheese and finish cooking the burgers through. So after that time, we want to go in with our temperature probe. I like to pull my lamb at about 55 degrees C. So I'm just going in with my temperature probe. So this is my Inkbird Instant read probe. If you want to see a review on this, I'll stick an iCard up the top, and I'll leave a link in the description to my review. So we're going in, we're looking for 55 degrees C. We've got 55 in one, 56 in the other. Brilliant. It's time to get them off and start building. So as you can see, I've already put a layer of iceberg lettuce on my bottom bun. So that's just sitting on there. We've got no sauce on the bottom bun whatsoever, just the iceberg lettuce. Then we're going on with our lamb patty with that nice melted cheese on the top of that, and then our sauce. I'm just going to spoon a bit of sauce over the top, spread it out across the top of that cheese, get our lid on, and we're done. So this looks fantastic. I love the colour of that pink. That mint comes through much more than I thought it was going to, because we've got a massive amount of mint in across the two patties. But there's an underlying mint all the way through, sweetness from the beetroot, nice overriding lamb flavour from the burger, balanced out with that sweetness of the brioche bun. That works really well. I'm not sure whether the avocado would add to it. It probably would, but as I say, I'm not an avocado fan, so I weren't going to put that in there because I really don't like them. But if you like what we're doing at Barbecue Life UK, then please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. and thank you very much for watching.